Hey, are you ready? Are you ready? Listen, I got a couple tips here, actually 7 tips that I want you to think about before you get married. And these are tips through the lens of an experienced divorce lawyer. If you're a guy and you don't have a lot of experience or you're not sure of yourself, this is for you. All right? These are 7 situations that drive a lot of divorces that I've seen. So let's get going. Number one, if the person that you're dating or you're thinking about marrying was formerly the girlfriend of a very wealthy guy, let's say a pro athlete or an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, or he was a model or a celebrity, and he broke up with her, you're never going to be her first choice. I know, that's a tough pill to swallow, but you will forever be the second choice guy, and you never want to find yourself in that position. She'll always be wondering what the other guy is doing. So be aware of that. It happens all the time. It can be a very severe case where, let's say the woman you're dating is very beautiful, but she used to date an NBA player, and a lot of the NBA players make millions and millions of dollars. You're not going to be able to keep up with that, most likely, and she's always going to look at you like you're like a second choice. That sucks. You don't want to be second choice to anybody. You want genuine burning desire. So be careful out there. Number 2, if the person you're dating is always miserable, they hate the world, they hate themselves, they hate their history, their background, their standing in life, they're a victim, do not marry. Why? You're going to end up in divorce court. Because there's going to come a day, no matter how good looking they are, if they're miserable, they're going to end up hating you eventually, through no fault of your own. I've seen it happen a lot. Number 3, her friends make her hyper-competitive. Look at this bracelet I got for Valentine's Day. What did your husband get you? Look at this car he just got me. You're driving that 1986 Toyota, huh, still? If her friends make her hyper-competitive, it's not going to end well. There's always going to be undue pressure on you. Be careful of that and open your eyes to it. Her family is toxic and hyper-competitive and whispering in her ear. Oh, you should be taking vacations here or there, or he goes golfing too often. What a mess. It's going to end up in divorce court. Don't let that be you. Next, I see a lot of lifestyle creep where somebody will marry their faithful beta provider plowhorse man. He'll work his ass off, all right? Sometimes they're accountants and they get very busy in certain times of the year. They could be working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Great provider, but they're not respected for what they bring to the table. And it's never enough. I always want, they'll say they always want like a bigger house or, things that are just more costly. And this guy just works himself into the ground without any positive feedback of any value. He gets a nice pat on the head, but they're always looking for the next best thing. And that's not really sustainable. It's actually unhealthy. Somebody that's got a bad attitude, victim mindset. You're so lucky. You get to do this, and I got to stay home and do that. And you don't even tell them that they need to stay home. But I've seen that happen where people have just a bad attitude. Nothing's ever good enough. You have it so good, and you could be a traveling salesman, make millions of dollars, or a management consultant where you're on a plane Sunday night and come back home Thursday night and be the world's greatest provider, and they think you're living the life of luxury, but you're grinding it out in some factory trying to turn a business around in the middle of nowhere. I've seen that happen quite often. So I need you to think about this because it happens all the time. Last but not least on this video, multiple prior marriages. If you're dating someone, especially midlife, and they've been married multiple times, 2, 3, 4 times, or more, this is no law against getting married multiple times, you better do your homework or you're going to be her next victim, all right? And she's probably parachuted out with the portion of everybody's pension and retirement and savings and equity in their home. Yeah, it happens all the time. So what can you do to protect yourself? Become educated about these people. They're everywhere. If you're going to get married, take your time. Vet carefully and for a long time. If you live in a prenup-friendly jurisdiction, make sure you have an airtight prenup to the greatest extent possible. If you live in a place where prenups are routinely set aside by the courts because they're not fair, think about whether or not marriage is for you. All right? There's no easier way to say it. Be careful out there. If you need me for a consultation, my contact information is in the show notes below. Don't be a victim. There's too much information out there to let that happen these days. Be careful out there.